Okay, if you haven't already done so, I urge you to take a look at the video that I've done. This is the thumbnail, how to take Copse corner in an F1 car. I'll leave the thumbnail at the end of this video for you to click on to watch that. It's less than 10 minutes long, but what it will do is show you the uninterrupted audio that I want you to listen to. I'm going to go through them same clips now, but because I'm going to be stopping them, it's going to change your perception of the audio, and I want you to hear the audio fully through. But I'm going to go through that video. I'm going to pause it and stop it and analyze each of the drivers going through Copse corner, pointing out to you some of the things that some of you may well have missed. So here we go. So we're at Silverstone 2021. This is lap 1. We're going to see how each of these drivers take Copse corner. This is the onboards from each of the drivers, and it's slowed down to a quarter speed. So this is the approach to Copse. This is the 100-meter board on the side of the track. So top to bottom, on that list of drivers on the right hand side of the screen, we're starting off with Daniel Ricciardo on the approach to Copse corner. Pay attention to the sound of his engine note, whether you can hear any deceleration, any down changes. Obviously, they're going to be slowing down for the corner. So how much brake pressure they're putting in, I can't tell you that. But what we can tell from what we can hear is a slowing of the vehicle. We'll also check out the angle of the steering wheel, what steering inputs Daniel Ricciardo puts in. So here we go. Okay, if you can look on the side of the track now, there are 3 orange markers on the ground to the right hand side of the curbing. Okay, so this is the point of this curve where the drivers are aiming to clip the curb. Okay, this is what we're going to describe as the apex. Now, this is not going to be consistent. Each driver does it slightly different because they've got a slightly different line. This is the way that the sport is. There is not just one way of doing things. Okay, but this would be typical. You start off where he started. You're on the racing line. So let's just go back and replay that. You start over on this left-hand side of the track, and that widens out the corner, making the corner as wide a curve as possible so you can maintain as much speed through it as possible. If you're forced into taking a narrower line, you can still do that. But optimally, okay, given a choice, this is the line that the drivers would take. This is called the racing line. But that doesn't mean that when you are wheel-to-wheel racing with another car that you're entitled to the racing line, okay, because there's not an entitlement to the racing line. It's only the optimum line that you will take when you're traveling around that track if you can. But if you've got a car alongside you, you have to afford that car track room. Those are the rules of engagement of the sport. Sadly, they're not explained to fans of the sport. We are being lied to by the people that present the sport to hype things up. As a consequence, people are receiving disinformation. They think they know what they're talking about when it comes to the sport of Formula One, and they are clueless. So let's have a look again. Check out the line that he's taking. Look at the car in front of him. Okay, this is the standard positions for most of these competitors, but you'll see not all. So look at where they are. Okay, we're as far left as possible. We're hearing the engine tone. And look at the steering wheel as well. As we hear, look at the steering wheel. Look at that angle there. Now, if you draw that line up here, the angle of the steering wheel, we're talking about if it was a clock face, in between 10 and 11, maybe 10 o'clock, maybe, yeah, 10:30 is the angle that we're looking at on a clock face of that steering wheel. Now, this is the start of the curbing. Daniel Ricciardo is away from that curbing, isn't he? Look at his front tyre. Look at the distance he is from the edge of the track. We've not arrived at the curbing yet. Okay, the car in front is touching the edge of the track as they're going around where that curbing is. But prior to the curbing starting, he's not there. And that's having started out with that wide line. Okay, so we're going to play it through. Keep your eye on the hands. And then unwind it. So now we're on to Norris. Lando Norris, same thing again. Fully over to the left-hand side of the track, what would be the standard racing line. Approaching the 50-metre board. You can hear the engine note decelerating. Okay. Start of the curbing, approaching this white triangle you can see on the edge. That's the start of the curbing. That's not the apex. Look how far Lando Norris is away from the edge of the track. Okay, that's the middle. Is where his front tyre is now, is the middle of those three orange markers on the inside of the curb there. That's where he's clipping the curbing. Let me press play. So that is what we would describe as being the apex, the part where they're kissing the midpoint of that corner. Okay? And if we just unwind that a bit and just check out Lando Norris's steering angle through there. Okay? And he's just unwound it slightly. Lando Norris only got to about the 10 o'clock position. Okay? Let's just do that again. I would say that's probably his maximum steering angle. Maybe, yeah, he's just wound it back slightly. So slightly kind of in that direction there. Okay? Not too dissimilar to that. So that's Lando Norris. Sebastian Vettel, again, look where he is on the track. Listen, you've heard that slowing down. It's clear. That's happened before the 50-metre board. What's going on there? I jumped forward on here. Let's get back there. Sorry about that. Let's get back to Sebastian Vettel. So that's coming out of the turn. We'll start again with Sebastian Vettel. Here we go. Okay, again. This is the start of the curbing. He is away from the edge of the track. Look at his steering angle. Okay, steering angle is here. What's that? If we made a right angle, it's about a 45-degree angle. If that's going upwards, this is going across. That is about the midpoint of that, about a 45-degree angle. So, play it forward. Kisses the edge of the track. Again, kisses the edge of the track around about where the middle of those orange markers are on the inside of that curb. Next one is Nicholas Latifi. What are you hearing? You're hearing the change down of the gears. Start of where the curbing starts. Where is Nicholas Latifi's car? He's away from the edge of the track. Look at the cars ahead of him. Okay? Are they touching the edge of the track at this point? Because the car in front of him, that is not currently clipping the apex. Look at the car in front of him. It never did touch the apex. We'll rewind that. Never touch the edge of the track. You don't have to. Doesn't look like Latifi's touched the edge of the track either. Okay, you don't have to hit the curb. It's not a requirement. They just do it when they can, if they're capable of doing it, and that can lead them to setting a quick lap time. But it's nothing. No, that's not mandatory. Let's look at Nicholas Latifi's steering angle. He's not the best person to use, but because he's correcting. So Nicholas Latifi, he gets his steering angle really round to sort of 11:30. I think there's one other driver that does that in this list of 20. Maybe they're equivalent in ability. We'll find out a bit later on. Anyway, next, let's have a look.
Happy to continue. Happy to continue.
Okay, we're on to Kimi Räikkönen, experienced driver. 100-metre board. Let's have a look then. Look where he is on the track. Deceleration. Now Kimi is about touching the white line almost before the curbing even starts. Kimi's going right over the curb rather than just touching the white line. Kimi's right over the curb, and you can clearly see these 3 orange markers on the inside of the curb, and Kimi's halfway across the curb. But Kimi is the 5th driver we've analysed, and he's the first one where his car is halfway across this track limits line. The others have either just touched the white line or not even touched the white line. See, there's a variation here. There is no requirement. It is just that different drivers do different things, and that will vary lap by lap. That's the way things work in motor racing. Okay, this one is Nikita Mazepin. In fact, I didn't check Kimi's steering angle out, so let's check Kimi's steering angle out. Look at his steering inputs as he goes around here. Okay, big steering input, but his big steering input has taken him right over the curb, doesn't it? Big steering input. Okay, so Mazepin.
Mode push and yellow. Turn 9 yellow.
Go back there again. You can hear the deceleration.
Mode push and yellow.
Away from the edge of the track when this white curbing starts. Look at the angle of the steering input.
Turn 9 yellow. Turn 9. Paris close.
Angle of the steering input is about that 45-degree line. It's between the vertical and the horizontal. It's about the 45-degree line. Okay, the 10:30 position. Okay, 10:30 should I say, if I'm speaking correct English. Let's carry on. Who are we on now? We're on Pierre Gasly. Now, what's going on in front of Pierre Gasly? Oh, cars are challenging one another on the approach to Copse corner. I thought everybody knew that you don't stick a wheel up the inside at Copse. This isn't a position on the track where you can overtake. According to Christian Horner and Jonathan Wheatley, the lies that they tell you. Although when you listen to this race with the commentary from Brundle, as they get onto this straight, Brundle is saying, and it's not over yet. Why is it not over yet, Brundle? It's not over yet because you're predicting that Hamilton is getting the toe up this straight, giving him the chance of an overtake going into Copse. Brundle saying that. And yet, everybody knows you don't put a wheel up the inside. Now, who's lying to you there? Who is lying to you? Who is inciting the crazies? The pricks in the comments section that don't know what they're talking about. The haters. Conflict. Who has caused that? Who is not educating people? Who is giving people disinformation, causing conflict for their own benefit, for their agenda? Anyway, Pierre Gasly. Listen out. Look at the angle of his steering wheel. Look at where he is on track. Deceleration, you can hear that. Look at what these cars are doing. They're giving one another space, aren't they? Okay, start of corner. He's still not over at the edge of the track, is he? Car in front of him is on that curb, but Pierre Gasly still isn't. Did he ever touch the edge of the track? Maybe, maybe not. Let's check his steering angle out. Bit all over the place there, Pierre. Bit all over the place, having a bit of a waggle on. But again, look at the angle, about the 10:30 position. If you take this line and extrapolate that line up here on a clock face, 45-degree angle. Oh, he's gone off track. He's gone off track. He's going to have to give that back. He's going to have to get... No, oh, sorry, wrong Grand Prix. Next one. Sergio Perez. So, this is what a Red Bull car sounds like when it is slowing down. Okay, we'll compare that with the other Red Bull car to see if that one slows down to go around this corner. Okay, so let's have a listen again, because we need to memorize this sound of a Red Bull car slowing down to make it around Copse corner. Here we go. Okay, where is Perez on entry to the corner? So we're approaching this white section where the curving for the corner starts. Where is Perez's wheel with relation to the edge of the track? There it is, look. Now Perez's angle of his steering wheel got up to about the 11 o'clock position, I would say. He put more of a lock on it, but he's waggling it again. Some drivers are smoother on their steering inputs and more consistent on their steering inputs than the others. Maybe you can determine a driver's feel for his car and his ability based on his steering inputs. But that's for a future discussion. Oh, car in front of Perez went off the track there. Track limits, everybody. Track limits. Who are we on to now? Fernando Alonso. Look where he starts. Look where his starting position is on the edge of the track on the left-hand side. The racing line, the optimum line around here. Their down changes. Start of the curb. How far away from the edge of the track is Fernando Alonso? Look at Fernando Alonso's steering input. Okay, around about, slightly over, but around about that 45-degree angle. Okay. And then now we're at the section where we've approached, well, we're nearly at this orange marker. The midpoint, the apex, the bit where he wants to touch the edge of the track. And look at his steering input again. We're approximately at that 10:30 position. Okay, Charles Leclerc. So look at Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc's in third position. Look at where his start point is. His left front tyre is over this time. He's trying to over this line on the left-hand side of the track. He's trying to widen out this corner as much as possible to maintain as much momentum through there, taking a wider arc as possible. But he's still slowing. You can hear the engine note. Look at his steering inputs. Clips the apex. Slightly late on that. Look at it. Let's have a quick go back on there. Let's see where he is. Okay, look at where he is relative to that white curbing. So he's I don't know, at least a tyre width away from the edge of the track at that point in time. And he's on the edge of the track there as we're again hitting this orange middle one of the three markers on this curb. And Lewis has had to go off track because that impact on his front left tyre caused him to have to counter steer, which changed Lewis Hamilton's line altogether through that corner, taking him off track, making him decelerate, and as a result of that collision, Charles Leclerc then passed Lewis Hamilton on the exit of this corner, dropping Lewis Hamilton down to second position before the race got red flagged. So, Lance Stroll. Again, look at what's happening. Look at cars dueling with one another. 100-metre board, you can see. So we've got an Alfa Romeo and it looks like it's an Alpine. Lance Stroll's position is different to the rest of the cars because Lance Stroll is now in the middle of the track. Remember, Lewis Hamilton is forced right to the right-hand side of the track, up against these blue barriers on the right-hand side. Hamilton's forced into having to take a much tighter line. But here is Lance Stroll in the middle of the track. So let's check out when he decelerates from that start point and look at his steering inputs. Decelerating, 50 board, decelerate. And was he ever halfway alongside these cars on entry and braking point to the corner? Where are these cars relative to one another? Let's have a look where they are relative to one another. So, is Stroll halfway alongside the Alpine on the outside? Is the Alpine halfway alongside the Alfa Romeo? So Lance has decided no, he's not halfway alongside. The Alpine's decided not halfway alongside. Rules of engagement. These drivers have looked at the situation and gone, this is the corner coming up. I now need to yield. Slowing down, steering angle, car coming across but in front of him. It's in front of him because Stroll wasn't halfway alongside and has yielded. Hamilton was more than halfway alongside, therefore didn't need to yield. Okay, look at where Stroll's front tyre is relative to the edge of the track. By the time we get to the curbing, it is going to be there. Okay, so Stroll is there. But he's got these two cars on his outside. He's yielded. He's now halfway off the track. Doesn't have to be halfway off the track, but he is halfway off the track. Sonoda. Okay, left tyre clipping the edge of the track to keep the corner as wide as possible. Look how far away from the edge of the track he is on the right hand side where the curbings start. Look at the angle of his steering wheel. We're talking about a 45-degree angle, aren't we? Hitting that 10:30 position. We are at the midpoint, which is what would be the apex. He's not touching the apex. He's not, well, the apex is not touching the apex. The apex is this point here, where this orange marker is. He's not clipping the edge of the track there. You don't have to be driving over the curb there. You don't have to be touching the edge of the track there. It is just the point of the corner whereby that is effectively the midpoint of where they are getting to that edge of the track. Ocon, again, left tyre on the edge of the track line, got a car on his inside. What does he do? Oh, he slows down. He yields, doesn't keep on the gas, doesn't force the issue. Realises he's got a car there, realises he's got a bend coming up, realises he's got to decelerate to make it around that bend. Start of the curbing coming up. We'll go back. Start of the curbing coming up, he's away from the edge of the track. Okay. Is Ocon touching that white line, or can you see track between the edge of that tyre and that white line? I wonder. Steering angle, approximately the 45-degree angle, slightly over. That might be closer to 50 degrees. Okay, so slightly beyond, nearer the 11 o'clock position than the half 10 position for Ocon. Right, who are we on to now? Mick Schumacher. Mick Schumacher's already decelerating just after the 100-metre marker. Look how wide he is. Steering input, approach to the curb. Look how far away from that he is. Look at the car in front of him. Look at the car in front of Mick Schumacher. How far is that car away from the curb? Look at Mick Schumacher. He's not touching that edge of the track either. Oh, he didn't hit the apex. Oh, he didn't hit the apex. Oh, therefore it's his fault. No, you haven't got to. When you're racing wheel to wheel, side by side, your reference point is each other. You give each other space. It's not about hitting an apex. When you've got a car on the inside, you make allowances for the part of the track that car is going to be on. And you've got a lot of space to your left-hand side to be in. So you utilise that.
Yellow 10.
Oh, a car has gone off track in front as well.
9.
Carlos Sainz. Approach. Look at where he is on approach. Listen to what you can hear. Deceleration. Steering angle. Start of the curbing. Where is he? Not touching the edge of the track, is he? Carlos Sainz goes fully over the curb. See, they all do it differently. And look at where the middle of his, the nose of his car is. The middle of his nose of his car is heading right over the middle of the track line. And you'd say the bit where he pinches the most track is actually late on the corner. So it's a late apex that he takes. Watch that again. Here, look at that. They all do it differently. There's not necessarily a right and a wrong. George Russell. Start point right over at the left edge of the track. You can already hear the engine note, the down changing. Entry, start of the curb. Look at steering angle. Look how far away from the white line on the right hand side he is. Touches the white line. Takes a bit of curb. And out he comes. Valtteri Bottas. Hear him decelerating. Entry to the corner. How far away from the edge of the track he is. Steering angle. That's a maximum steering angle really, 45 degrees, half past 10 position. Has he touched the edge of the track? Let's have a look. Didn't appear to. Valtteri didn't appear to touch the white line. Does it appear to be a mandatory requirement that you've got to touch the apex of the corner? No, it doesn't. Antonio Giovinazzi. Look at his start point. Left tyre fully off the track at the moment, over the left-hand track limit. We're slowing down. Now he's lost a bit of control there, hasn't he? It's a bit of oversteer maybe. And that's why he's back end and he's having to now counter steer. See, look at that, counter steer. And that has moved him where on the track? Oh, he hasn't hit the apex because he's counter steered. All right. Is it understeer? Is it oversteer? What it is, it's counter steer. So he's on entry to the corner. And his back end seems to have drifted out on him, so therefore he's counter steering back now. And that counter steer has made him end up away from that apex. Look how far away from the edge of the track he is. Oh, car in front's gone well off the track. And it looked like Antonio himself was going to go off the edge of the track there. So, this is from Charles Leclerc's car, looking at Hamilton directly ahead, and in front of him is Verstappen. So look at what, well, you know what the racing line is. You've just seen it. It's down the left-hand side of the track. That is where the majority of these cars have tried to be, because that's the fastest line. Max Verstappen is defending, and he's basically trying to force Lewis Hamilton out of room. What's going on there? Let's play it. What you have to bear in mind is the sprint race was the day before this. And on lap 1 of the sprint race, Lewis Hamilton tried to overtake him down the outside. So today in the Grand Prix, he thinks, I'll try it down the inside this time. Because Max didn't yield when I was on the outside, so maybe I'll go on the inside, see if he yields then. So Max thinks he's covered the inside, okay? Because Max is trying to offer him the same situation as what happened the day before. And this is where Hamilton makes Max thinks he's done enough, but he hasn't. So which of those cars got forced to this side as much as this when coming down this straight? Look at where the car in front is. Max Verstappen. 1, 2, 3 car widths to his left-hand side. This is the car that's in the lead of the race. And look at where it's putting himself to defend against the other car. And now, so we're in between the 100-metre board and the 50-metre board for these two cars. Max Verstappen is now coming left to widen out the corner to try and take as big a sweep into the corner as possible to maintain as much speed into the corner. Lewis Hamilton will have to react to that, because when he sees Max Verstappen then going away, he realises it becomes room for him to be able to try and move to the left as well to open up the corner for himself. And you'll see, oh, why is that doing that? What you saw originally there was then Lewis Hamilton try to move left to, again, open it up. So we'll see it there. They're fully squeezed over to the right hand side of the track. Max starts then moving left. Lewis then starts moving left because the space emerges. And then Max starts turning in. Okay? Something sparks off of Lewis's car, you can see there. You can see the angle of Lewis's car changing now to start turning around the corner. Bang! Impact. So you look at the line that Lewis actually started off. He was on the inside of that corner. Where do you think, what's going to happen? If you start over here and you go across there towards the apex, that's the line you're on. If you're on a tight line here, what do you think is going to happen? You know that you need to leave space for that car. It's there. It's just common sense. If you've got a car there, you've got to leave space for it. Where's it going to go? Where is it going to go? Okay, so Lewis Hamilton. This is how close we are to the edge of the track at this point in time. Is he allowed to challenge for position? Of course he is. Okay, there comes a point in time where it will be the braking zone for this corner, which we've seen from every other driver, is between the 100 metre and the 50 boards, where you have to determine whether or not you are allowed to be challenging for this corner or not. And the rules of engagement are that you need to be at least halfway alongside on the inside, and if you are, then you have a right to the corner. The other car has to afford you track room. So let's have a look. Well, he's more than halfway alongside. Now we are reaching the 50 metre board, and this is the point where it's the braking zone. You're in a position where you're afforded room around this corner. You've seen the guy that squeezed you into the wall on the right hand side, he's drifting left. So you're drifting left too. Okay, you've just heard that changing engine note from Lewis's car. So look at the steering inputs from Lewis, look at the steering angle, and you're hearing that deceleration. Look at the car on the left hand side converge right across the nose of Lewis Hamilton. There. Now, we'll go back again. Get back onto Hamilton. We can see the start of the curbing. Look how far Lewis Hamilton's tyre is away from the edge of the track at this point in time. Is that abnormal? Is that any different to what you have seen from any of the other drivers? The other 18 drivers that I've showed you, how many of them were approximately this distance from the edge of the track at this point in time? Look at the steering angle that Lewis Hamilton is on. Is that any different to any of the other drivers? You're about to see impact before the curbing starts. I'm going to try, I don't think I'll be able to pause this on the exact moment, but I can just try. It all happens within literally a frame or two. Too late. I'll try one more time. Okay, we're a frame away from impact. Look at the distance between Hamilton's front tyre and the edge of the track. Where is he on course for being? Look at his steering angle. Okay, that steering angle is about the 10 position. Okay, you can hear him decelerating. You can hear him slowing down to try to make it around this corner. And it's the impact that deviates that. It's the impact on that front wheel that makes Hamilton have to counter steer, and that counter steer pulls him away from that curbing and out into the middle of the track. That's what does it. And finally, Max Verstappen. We know that the majority of these cars started off on this left-hand side of the track. Lewis Hamilton is fully on the right-hand side of the track. Even Lance Stroll wasn't this far over. But let's have a look. So, at the 50-metre board, where are we? We're still not taking a wide line into this corner. So if you're not taking the wide line into the corner, you're not able to carry as much speed into the corner. You can carry as much speed into this corner when you start fully on the left-hand side and you're able to get fully to the apex and out. That's the way you can carry speed through Copse. You have to take a wide entry, you clip the apex of the corner, and it's a wide exit. That enables you to carry speed through it. If you are not starting so wide, you've got to slow down a bit. So listen to Max's engine note. We'll go through Max a couple of times because we heard Lewis slow down. I've not heard it. I've not heard him come off the gas. You've heard 19 cars. They've all come off the gas. But Max Verstappen is so uncompromising. Well, no, you've got to compromise. They seem to laud that. They seem to make out as if it's a great thing. No, not at all. Not at all. You've got a car on your inside, Max. You saw it pull almost level with you. You know it's there. You know it was there at the braking point for the corner. Because you do know that there is a braking point for this corner, a deceleration point for the corner. You do know that. But you won't yield. You're that much of a prick, you just stay on the gas and think, fuck it, I'm going to put my car there. They have to back out. And if they don't back out, then there'll be a crash. That is your attitude. And they go, oh, it's so uncompromising. No, it's called driving like a cunt. Because you're a cunt. And there you go. Because you tried to chop across the nose of the car that was on the inside of you. And we'll go back that again. But we'll look at his hands this time. Okay, look at the hands. Look at the hands. Oh, look at that. Just before that jolt, we got up to here. The 11 o'clock, half 11 position. That is far greater than the 45-degree angle. Because he tried to chop across him. When you've got a car on the inside, you have to take a wider line. You can't chop across like that. You can't put in the same level of steering input as everybody else because you have to maintain space on the inside. Max puts a bigger steering input than most, apart from the only one that was similar was our friend Nicholas Latifi. You know, like I say, similar sort of level of ability maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Again, trying to pause it there on the moment in time where he was maxed out on his steering wheel. He tried to chop across. That's the impact's happening. The apex that we're talking about, that they are saying, oh, they want to be clipping the track, is where I'm trying to wave my cursor now. And people in the comment section want to talk about, oh, Lewis didn't hit the apex, so therefore it's his fault. You've got no idea what you're talking about. You've got no idea what you're talking about when it comes to motor racing, terminology, what things even mean. Okay, but you've heard it, you think you know what you're talking about, you've been lied to by the sport, and because you like Max Verstappen, you try and vilify Lewis Hamilton. But you ain't got a clue. Your boy's the only one that's different here. 19 out of 20 drivers made it around that corner okay. 19 out of 20 drivers slowed the fuck down to make it around that corner. One didn't. One didn't. And one driver tried with a car on his inside, wouldn't yield, wouldn't obey the rules of engagement, and instead tried to shut it off. And that's what happened. That's what happens. So, maybe that's just what happens when you don't leave space, Max. You tell us. But rather than explain this to you, rather than educate the fans of the sport, they blame Sir Lewis Hamilton for that. They had all of the presenters present that it was Lewis's fault, ultimately. Brundle starts off by saying it's a racing incident, but then goes on to actually give reasons why it then became Hamilton's fault. They've got Karun Chandok analysing it, using the technology, but not able to present what I've just presented, using the technology that they have at their disposal compared to what I've got at my disposal. They allowed the likes of Christian Horner to be interviewed in front of a global audience and try to pin the blame on Sir Lewis Hamilton for that incident. That conditioned people's minds. That made people believe that Lewis Hamilton was at fault. That vilified Sir Lewis Hamilton. That incited hatred against Sir Lewis Hamilton, of which we know that is racial hatred. And yet, the media firm, which hide behind the slogan, hate won't win, they're the ones that are fueling it. They know what they're doing. They're just filthy bastards. Filthy bastards perpetrating a narrative. And that's a pro-Red Bull, pro-Verstappen narrative, anti-Lewis Hamilton narrative. Painting the wrong picture, vilifying somebody, miseducating people, lying to people about the sport. And they lied about Abu Dhabi. People do not realise what happened in Abu Dhabi, that the entire thing was contrived. So check out my other videos. You will see all of the elements of Abu Dhabi that are contrived. People do not know all of the things that were done well before the massive mistake. But I'm breaking them down one by one, and eventually the world will wake up to realise that the entire thing is contrived. And it's representative of what happens in our lives in every other facet. The narrative of our lives is controlled, and the media is the matrix that feeds the bullshit information into your brains to make you think that this is just normal and this is how things are. And all it does is benefit the billionaires. Anyway, enough of this one. See you all soon.